Hi everyone, welcome back to the third day of the Advent Calendar collaboration hosted by Monika, aka Paper Mona. And we also have Mel in this group. Both of the ladies' channels will be linked in the description box below. Make sure you check out their videos after you watch mine as well. So for the third day from the Spellbinders Advent Calendar, we have a lovely little die set. And this is like a bunny hopping out of the hat, like a magician kind of theme. I really love this one. It is very cute. Now, from the Stamps by Me calendar, if you watch my video today, you know that I messed up my days a little bit. So today, and even though I'm popping back the 4, I still hadn't caught on. I'm opening the second box instead of the third one here today. So there are 2 sentiment stamp sets, and I will be using one of those on my card today. Off camera, I've die cut the dice from the Spellbinders Advent Calendar several times, I think 3 times in there. I'll not be using all those die cuts today, but I will be using some of them. And then here I'm just giving it a go just to see what part goes where. It did feel a little bit daunting at the start with all the little bits and pieces, but once I've colored the images in, it came together really nicely. So I really enjoyed making this card, I have to admit. So starting off with the hat, I'm using my alcohol markers to color it in, and I'm using black and then some darker grays, but I end up not liking that shading in there, not just for this design, so I'm just gonna come back with my black alcohol marker, and then I'm gonna just color over all that shading in there. And I just like that clean look much more for this one. Maybe if I'd put the shading off to the side a little bit rather than down the middle of the hat, maybe I would have liked it a little bit more, but I was just quite happy for it to be just pure black. I'm adding the little white bits on either end of the stick, and then I ended up using the wrong bit, so I changed it back. I think it was the bunny's ear that I used in the first day. Yeah, I needed a smaller bit for the magician's stick in there. And then just using different colored alcohol markers, different shades of browns for the bunnies, different shades of pinks for the ears, yellow for the stars, and for the strip to go around the hat. I just did most of my coloring. Off camera, I'm just showing you a little in here so you can see how I pulled those bunnies together. Now I'm adding the inner ears on top of those ears in there, and I'm just using little dots of my fine tip glue bottle. These are quite fiddly bits in here again, so I do need to use a fine tip glue bottle to put this together, or I would just make a whole mess of it. Now there was a wee rectangle die cut which I could not figure out for ages what it is for, and I still don't even know if this is what it is for, but I just added a pink color in the middle of it and then some green to either side, and I figured if I glued this behind the head, I can have colored eyes and a colored nose for my bunnies. I really do not know if this is how it was intended to use, but this is how I use them anyway. You will see some close-ups at the very end of this video, so make sure you stay tuned. I wanted to reinforce the hat with another die cut in there, but now because the edges of that second die cut are white, I'm just going grind it with my black alcohol marker just to conceal all that white in there. And I did exactly the same with the magician stick as well, reinforced and then colored on the edges. So these are all my die cut elements that I have prepared for my cards today. Now to talk about the background a little bit. I have a super gorgeous glittery panel in here, which I used on white cardstock, heat embossed with Ray of Sunshine embossing glitter. This is a clear powder, but has lots of bursts of gold glitter right through it, and it is just stunning, and I think it's perfect for the magician's theme in here. I've prepared this panel actually for my card on day number 1. But I ended up not liking it and I changed it then. But I knew I needed to keep it. So I'm just so happy that I did, because I did find a perfect job for it on this card. My card base measures 5 by 7.5 inches, and the white panel into which I've die cut with the modern novels from Spellbinders measures 4 3/4 by 7.25 inches, and I've die cut the oval towards the top of the card, so I left enough room on the bottom for a sentiment. Using the two dies together, so the same as I cut the window out with, and the next size up, I've die cut a frame. I kept it white in here, and I didn't glue it down because I didn't know if I was going to change the color of it or not yet. The sentiment that says "You make me smile every single day" from the Stamps by Me Advent Calendar, I stamped on the bottom of the card using black Nocturne ink pad. So this is how it will all layer up nicely. And I'm going to tuck my elements behind the oval window in there. So this was my plan that I'd worked out. I'm just doing a quick dry run in here, and then I will be adding my yellow stars as well all around. So I really like the look of this setup, so I decided to work with that. But first of all, I wanted to add a little bit of a color just to the edges of that panel, just not to have it white on white. That color just offsets it a little bit, and I like that look. So I just used one of the alcohol markers that I already had used on my bunny's ears, one of my bunny's ears. Glued the frame around the opening because at this point I decided I didn't want to add any additional colors. I just wanted to keep it nice and white. So I have that glittery panel glued straight onto the card base, and then I'm gluing my bunnies on behind this panel in here. So the opening of the panel, and covering entire of that in foam pads, including the bunnies as well. And then I am popping it onto the card base. I'm adding the magician's wand, and then some of my yellow stars. I think I added 8 altogether. And this finishes the card. I think it's perfect. It's super cute. You'll see a little close-ups in here now. If you would like to join in with our collaboration, if you're inspired in any way at all by our mix, or you're using Crafty Advent Calendar in your mix this December, just use the hashtag you can see on my screen now when you're sharing your mix on social media, or do let us know in the comment section below to make sure we go and check out your mix. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you do check out Monika's and Mel's mix as well, and I'll see you back tomorrow. Bye!